Good afternoon. I understand you all have a copy of this letter. I'd like to read from this, if I may. And Sandy and I put this together based on the information that I provided. And I will read it to you, and then I am open to questions. My name is John Fiedler, and I was a member of the Michigan Department of State Police for 25 years. In 1981, while I was a detective lieutenant in charge of the organized crime unit, the East Lansing Police Department asked my unit to assist them with a criminal investigation into an illegal bookmaking operation that eventually led to the arrest of Dan Gilbert. I've read Mr. Gilbert's explanation of what happened that day, and I'm here to tell you what really happened. East Lansing Police received a complaint from a young man who owed a significant amount of money to the bookies. It was over $1,000, but I cannot remember the exact account. After interviewing the victim, I had him call and say that his father planned to pay his debt and arrange a meeting between the bookie and his dad. I posed as the young man's father and entered an off-campus house where I met two men. One of them was Dan Gilbert, and Dan Gilbert did all the talking. I was wearing a hidden recorder and transmitter, and I asked him why he believed that my son owed him so much money. The other man left the room and returned with a ledger. And let me stop here for a moment and interject this. He left the room at Dan Gilbert's order. The other man left the room and returned with a ledger. He showed me all the bets that were made, and I got to see the list of bets and others that others had made. I do not recall the number of bets, but several pages of the ledger were filled. There were bets, $10 bets, $100 bets, and even $1,000 bets. The victim had personally told me that Mr. Gilbert grabbed him and pushed him up against the wall, making threats that he had better pay up. Another police officer who worked on the case said one victim who did not pay had his car filled with manure, and it contained a threatening letter threatening bodily harm. I asked Mr. Gilbert why he felt the need to threaten my son, and he told me that he owed the money and my son would not pay. So I paid the money, signaled to the East Lansing Police Department, and they entered the house and arrested both men. Now I understand that the voters of Ohio have a big decision to make on Tuesday. When I learned Mr. Gilbert's characterization of what happened back in 1981, I agreed to tell the people of Ohio what really transpired. Mr. Gilbert was part of a serious, organized bookmaking ring that threatened some of his victims with violence. I'm also here today because I have learned that some members of the Ohio law enforcement community believe that Issue 3 would severely limit the scope and authority of law enforcement over owners and investors of Ohio's casinos. Based on my police experience in investigating crimes of this nature, I completely agree with concerns raised by the Ohio law enforcement community. Casinos are the type of industry that demands tough, impartial, and complete oversight. I'm not here to tell Ohio voters how to vote on Issue 3. I'm here to try and make sure Ohio voters have the facts they need to make an informed choice. And that's the end of my prepared statement.